the Harvard group. That's the conspiracy. It's not the Jews. It's not the Freemasons. It's not, all these different groups that all these conspiracy people talk about. It's really the attitude taught at the Ivy League universities, which has caused the downfall of this country with wars that are illegally prosecuted and fought, banker bailouts. I mean, if you are working at Goldman Sachs, what college do you think that most of those employees at Goldman Sachs went to? What university?
Some Ivy League, I don't know.
Do you think
Harvard,
you think community college graduate could get a job at Goldman Sachs or AIG or one of these big banks? And again, they all go to college with the political science majors, with the economic majors, with the business majors, and they all go to college together. So okay, bam, when they get to be president, and not just president, junior staffers, secretary, cabinet secretaries, people who will never know. And again, I think we should just break that whole racket up of the Ivy League university domination of our government, our media, our business, our basically everything that we do. Because now in the internet age where information is more ubiquitous and we can all get to it now, the Ivy League, the concept of an elite university is nonsensical. Because how can you be an elite university? What do you know that we don't know? And I get podcasts from Yale and iTunes University. Yeah, I said them, excuse me. But I get, I download it, listen to the lectures, because I feel this is good information. And I can get that now, whereas a generation ago I couldn't get that.
Yeah, totally.
And I think, again, we have to broaden this democracy. Another thing, very important thing, we have too few people in our House of Representatives. That's why our campaign finance problems are so huge. We need at least 600 members of the House, at least. We have 435 members of the House for 310 million people, okay?
That's getting a little technical for me, but let's just tell people, once again, your link to listen to your...
The Robinson Report on Facebook.com or The Robinson Report on Facebook. Give me a like and I'll show you some love. You can go there and you see my documentaries, Air Wars, Race Riots.
He doesn't know
1965 Vietnam.
He doesn't know what that war shit does. That's like, it's like at home I'm watching like either stuff about cooking
or war
or what I call disaster porn.
You're gonna like what I got there for you.
I bet you'll really like that.
Military history is very important for us all to know because the best way to stop war is to have the experience of war, so that the next guy or the younger generation.
Can you hold that? I've got to. I'm interested with the. Astrology.
No, that's for you, Lamont.
What horoscopes?
Don't you want to film with yours?
I'm
this looks really good.
Okay, because you can like.
I mean, it looks good with the phone too, but.
I haven't written the songs down like really forever. What songs we're playing?
Oh yeah, the playlist. That rascally playlist.
God, that's the biggest pain.
This flip looks really good.
It's like you need a producer.
No.
If I had another hand, I'd start typing for you.
Well, I can type it. Just like you guys talk.
We're talking. So, do you think it's more of a classist problem with society? Like the upper class, the middle class?
It's a psych-out problem.
That's what I think it is.
For the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, astrologically speaking, Neptune has been in Aquarius and Uranus has been in Pisces.
Okay.
This in astrology is called mutual reception. When you have a planet that rules one thing in another sign, and the other sign that rules the thing that the other planet is in is the next sign.
Okay.
Neptune in Aquarius, Uranus and Pisces. Uranus rules Aquarius, Neptune rules Pisces. They were in each other's signs. They were in each other's houses. Okay. Now, Pisces has to do with deception. Okay. Pisces, Neptune has to do with vagueness, deception, there but not there, ubiquity, all over, everywhere, nowhere at once. Aquarius or Uranus has to do with society, friendships, circles of friends upon circles of friends, or groups of associations and things of that nature. And also has to do with the media because it has to do with electricity and how we get our transmissions from our information. So, with those two planets the last 15 years being in those two signs, we've seen a lot of deception from our national leaders who at least used to cover it up and make it look like they were doing the job of the American people.
No, they never cover it up anymore.
Well, they didn't. Yeah, after this, they stopped covering up.
Yeah.
I didn't have sexual relations with that woman. To WMD in Iraq, which really was or was not there. To the election, both in 2000 and 2004 being less than stellar. The Enron debacle, which sets the stage for 8 years later what happened with the other lie, with the 2008 financial crisis, which was built up, and the President Bill Maher told you about in 2006. I'm a big fan. I watched the show. He said it. The mortgage crisis was going to hit. He did say
wow, in 2006 he
in
said
2006. You can roll roll
my
tape.
goodness. Yeah. Cue clip.
New rule. Producers are needed. Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry, Bill. He's going to come to Salt Lake and come after me for that one now.
Watch out.
Comedians, they're like the mafia, right?
Yeah. No, we just sit and complain.
Yeah, ask Jay Leno.
Yeah, he's got connections.
Yeah. Hey, quit talking about my Italian-American brothers.
All right, keep going.
You're being racist, and it's not
Are
cool.
you part Italian?
I'm Catholic, so
He's
yes.
part
okay.
everything.
Yes. But the more important thing, we've been deceived on a grand scale, not just by politicians, but by business, by religious leaders, and we've been, not just us here in the West, but also in the East.
So what I'm wondering is, what is it going to take for this all to just come
for you to get social
down.
change, for you to get
for
political
people
change,
for
you
people
to get
to demand
economic change,
because people
you first
don't,
need cultural change.
Yeah, have the wool pulled
You
over their
first
eyes.
need cultural change because we have a
Well, how
culture
does that happen?
that
Explain
accepts.
that.
Well, that happens by allowing culture to flower because culture is what's going to be remembered.
What do you
about
mean
us
by
1,000
culture to
years.
flower?
Well,
How does that?
Let the music play, baby. Let the art go up. Let the expression of the inner
It seems
subconscious
like we've had this
abstract
art,
side come
this
out.
like the '60s, the art and the statements and all of that stuff, and then it fizzled away.
That's for the
you
baby
know,
boom generation.
Yeah.
For us Generation Xers in the 80s, when Ronald Reagan was president, he cut a lot of domestic programs because that's what Republicans do.
Yeah.
And whereas my mother and father a generation ago could learn to play music, play the guitar, play drums, do the Supremes, do the Jackson 5, and do all those groups, my arts education was cut by the Reagan administration, which trickled down from the federal government to the state, to the local, to the county, to the high school, to the district. And we started selling drugs and rapping and turntables and microphones.
Yep, that's what happens.
In the 80s.
So
we started making art at home and selling drugs to help fund and make the infrastructure for that art.
Well, so it's a mix of that's partly destructive with the drugs, but then
Yeah.
the artwork
Yeah.
blossomed out of that. And
Culture. That's how culture flowers.
Yeah.
Culture flowers when things are hard on people and things are tough.
But then the government, this hard autocrat. Well, not in a way it is. This structure of the government is still in place, and it seems like. Because they're all like Obama. I like him in a way, but I don't trust him. He's like in.
But it's not about him.
business
He's
and-
very far away.
Yeah.
We need to focus on our local politicians and hold
Yeah.
our local politicians' feet to the fire because President Obama's one represents 300 million people. Whereas your local politicians and your county commissioners and your county board and your county mayors and your mayors and aldermen and state legislatures with your state house and state senate, I guarantee you 90% of the people who are within the sound of this transmission cannot name their state representative or a state legislator or a state senator. Half of them probably can't name the governor or lieutenant governor. And
Herbert, for hopefully not very much longer.
Yeah. But that's a cultural problem because we have a culture that accepts politics in this depraved stage.
Me too.
Yeah, a lot of people work, but we have a culture, especially here in Utah, that accepts perverted politics and don't uphold the values of America, but respects the power of America and don't understand the power of America comes from the values of America. And once you get the values of America down, the power comes easy.
Well, the Republicans they are the ones that a lot of times they talk about values and like Christian. What is it they say? Family values, Christian, and they're the ones that are screwing people over.
This has been
making it so like both partners have to work because of the economy.
Yeah. Can't support kids.
This is a thing of the history that has gone on since the Nixon and the Southern strategy. And it's a great book I would like to talk about named What's the Matter with Kansas? Why Kansas and people in the exurbs in America vote outside their economic interests and keep putting these Republicans in who want to reward the rich with tax breaks while preaching social populist policy on the campaign trail. But once they're elected, they're proposing massive tax breaks for corporations and the wealthy and not really addressing the social problems of the old people who need more than $15,000 a year to take care of themselves. And this is the great thing about our Social Security program. However, politicians are not disciplined enough to keep their freaking fingers off the Social Security program because you pay in the Social Security. The reason why Social Security be broke is because our politicians not really keeping their hands off of it. The money can grow if they just kept their freaking hands off of it, but they need it for a war, they need it for this, they need it for a tax cut, they need it for that.
I'm with you on that. Let's go into some music again. Oh, it turned into a political show.
Yes.
I know.
Imagine that.
My name is John McLaughlin. Issue number 1. Obama, no mama.
People would say announcer and he would say wrong.
Yes, wrong.
Wrong.
He was not born in the United States. He was born on Mars. In a manger.
Next topic, the birthers.
Donald Trump coming up next on the Awkward Hour.
Why don't you talk about Donald Trump since we're not on air? I know you love Donald Trump.
Him. He's likable. I don't know how he'd be.
Not for Lamont. Lamont doesn't like him.
The horse shit.
Oh, sweet. Strawberry Fields record store. That's what you sent me. I love it.
Donald Trump's a Gemini.
Oh, big surprise. Talkie.
Gemini, yeah.
Muammar Gaddafi's a Gemini too.
Talkie.
I like him, but you can't always trust him.
Who? Muammar Gaddafi or Donald Trump?
Just Geminis.
Just Geminis in general. They have that duality to them.
Yes. So everything that happens with Donald Trump and Gaddafi is going to be tricky. We're not going. They're both very smart individuals.
Because it's like dealing with 4 people.
Yeah. And they're both very, very smart people, and they know how to play the media. Both of Gaddafi knows how to play the media, the global media, just as good as Trump plays the domestic media.
What do you mean the media? Across the street.
Yeah, the mainstream. The Yale media, the elite Yale Ivy League media.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump's, I think he's doing the Republican Party a long-term favor, I think, number 1. Number 2, he's running the way Barack would run in the Republican primary. In the sense, I'm saying Donald Trump is running for Barack Obama in the Republican primary against these lightweights and smashing them even further into the ground so that they cannot challenge the president.
Yeah.
Knowing politics as I do, this is the money-raising era period, and if you don't have money raised right now, you're not going to win. You have to have money raised. It's the money raised, the invisible primary. And Republicans don't win on a dime and a prayer. Democrats do. Democrats win on a dime and a prayer, but Republicans need big money.
Yeah.
Lots of people, lots of clones come out doing the work. And they don't have that. And again, Barack Obama will win 40-plus states.
Wow.
All of these, yes, predicted here.
Good.
Because if this was 1981 or 2 and I said Ronald Reagan won 49 states, you just said, "Crazy, how the hell did you get a video camera?" And that would be the first question.
Where'd you steal that from?
Area 51?
Where's your media card?
I know, I need my media card.
But if I said
camera
81,
would fit my
that
hand.
Ronald Reagan would win 49 states, which he did over Walter Mondale, you'd be like, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Barack Obama's going to win 40, I'll say 40 plus, because a lot of these states are passing these birther legislations. I have a sneaky suspicion that the electoral college votes won't count.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That would be pretty amazing.
Like when Bush got in Florida.
Yeah. And it's like they're setting themselves up for failure because you can't pass a law that says you have to produce your birth certificate to win electoral votes for a state. That is so nonsensical. I don't see how to pass the laugh test.
Yeah.
But you see what we're dealing with here. So. But yes, Barack Obama will win 40 plus states.
Predicted here.
Yeah. 2013, 2014 will be big years for him and for the country.
For that. Hey, let's hear that.
Oh yeah, let's do it on. The air,
say
the
that
prediction.
again.
Oh,
So
a
you-
prediction.
You're getting it
Well,
on. What?
again, I just predicted that President Obama will
Is
win
that by
re-election.
astrology or just politics that you're
A little bit of
predicting
both, because I got a foot in both ponds there, and the stars are with him because 2012 is the year of the dragon.
that? God, I hope so, because for what
And-
I've heard is the economy is just going down the shitter.
Well,
with
that's
the mortgage.
Well,
and
you can
credit
find out
and all
about that in my next podcast, Economic Crisis.
Oh,
It's on
when's
the
that
Robinson
coming
Report.
out?
That coming
Next
out?
week
Yeah.
today, next
He
Friday,
knows how
I'll
to
release
plug
it.
things.
Yes. And it'll be on the Robinson Report and YouTube, Facebook. Anywho, yes, President Obama will win re-election. The 2012 will be the year of the dragon.
But there sure are some people that hate him on the Republicans.
Hey, but they are a minority, and as we all
Yeah.
know, we must give them rights, but they don't have the right of navigation. They've had that for the last 10 years. And President Obama will win re-election. He will win 40-plus states, the same way President Reagan won 49 states in 1984. What we have astrologically with President Obama, see, President Obama's a Leo. His birthday is 8/4/61, whereas Ronald Reagan was an Aquarius. His birthday is 26/11, February 6, 1911. And they both have a very similar skill sets in the sense that they can both give great grand speeches. I wish President Obama would come to Salt Lake. He can get 1,000 over here, 100,000 over here at Liberty Park. And they're very skilled managers, and they are very underestimated by their opposition. I think a lot of this birthday stuff came from him because he knew he can draw people in, the bad people in who don't verify and don't trust stuff, and he can draw people in to do that. I think politically he did that as a diabolical politician because we all study these things. But
Well, the
that's
comedians
nonsense. That's not
miss
here today.
Bush, don't they?
Totally.
With his miss.
Well, they missed their writers too because they went on strike back in the day and haven't been brought back. It's all reality now. So even with comedy, how do they do that?
Real reality TV. The awkward
Real
hour
reality.
is this is real
This
reality.
is real.
Yeah.
When I hit my
Completely
head
real.
on the microphone.
Yeah,
When you-
shake your head and
Real reality.
tripping, hold stuff up.
God.
But 2012 and 2013 will be a year of cultural change. And again, you can't get political, social, economic change without first cultural change. And our culture here has to change, and we cannot accept this culture of unaccountability, this culture of do whatever you can and cover your ass at all costs.
Yeah, but I
that
get
culture
so
is what's been,
depressed at our citizens. They will
Yeah.
just put up with so
Yeah.
much crap.
Yeah, and that's because the culture has set the ground for that. And again, this started in 1980, and you'll see in my podcast, Economic Crisis, how in 1980, Ronald Reagan and the Reaganomics that he set down really have been in effect since then. And when they say they wanted limited government, government was limited in the 80s, and Bill Clinton didn't do us liberals no favors by cutting welfare and getting NAFTA in, where our union brothers were severely
Yeah,
hurt by our
McCann.
friends. The Clintons were our friends on that, you know. And we've had a conservative cycle of the last 30 years, and President Obama, as a liberal or as a left Democrat, he represents this new liberal cycle that we're coming into. And it'll be like how between the 50s and the 80s, how the 50s through the 80s was a very liberal cycle. You had a very liberal time here in that in this country.
That was the most economically fruitful time.
Because you look at the culture, you know, you had the growth of rock and roll. You had, you know, the 50s was kind of bland and boring, of course, we know. But you had James Dean, Rebel Without a Pause, and the movie industry was getting, the television industry was getting off the ground, and the radio industry was going away. And, you know, the 50s through the 80s is very liberal, with President Kennedy being a leftist establishment.
The post-war
And-
boom, but
Yeah.
then we had the oil crisis. And
Yeah.
what about?
And that started the new
That just
conservative
went
crisis.
really political.
The new conservative cycle started
That's
by
one
Ronald
of
Reagan.
our problems is starting to run out of oil. But I mean, there's no
We're
reason.
running out of ideas. The oil is going to be there. The ideas is something
Oh, really?
that's eternal.
Well, I mean,
that's
but we can have lots of ideas for alternative forms of energy.
Yeah.
There are a whole handful of
but
different.
there's not a respect. Again, we have a culture that does not respect knowledge. We pay a lot of lip service to education, a lot of lip service to
We
knowledge.
respect
but
technology.
We respect power. We don't respect
We
information or
respect
knowledge the way that we should.
technology.
We respect power and the
Yeah.
ability to make someone show up at a time and make someone leave at a time. We like to make people disappear in America. I wonder why.
We're so all about power in America.
Yes.
Yeah, it's,
And again, you won't get all these other branches of our life to change unless you attack it at the root. And the root is the culture. The culture needs to turn its back to this culture of lies, this culture of deception,
well,
this
how
culture
do you
of
do
self.
that specifically? How,
Demand that you be told the truth. demand, say, hey, tell me the truth. I'm an adult here. Tell me what's going on. And let's move on. I'm not going to stop everything because, there's aliens at Roswell or,
Oh, hey, what about that? I'm not kidding. I mean, maybe a tiny bit, but that 2012, that Mayan, that apocalypse thing, that's just a bunch of shit, right?
No, it's quite true because the Mayans as well as the Phoenicians
We're
and the
going
Egyptians,
through a transformation. The world isn't going to end like in December of 2012.
It's not going to end because the translation always gets messed up. It's going to transition. We're coming out of the age of Pisces.
What's going to happen exactly?
Okay, we're coming out of the age of Pisces. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And we're coming out of the age of Pisces, which started in Anno Domini Zero, or our Christian era. This year is 2011. Well, that's 2011 years of Christian domination in the West. And that, to us astrologers, is the age of Pisces, in which Jesus represents Pisces, or the Savior who gave his life for
the age of Aquarius, then?
The age of Aquarius has to do with new social living, hippie stuff, aliens, new technology.
Oh, I'm all for all of that.
And
me too. That sounds great.
More types of air travel, more types of energy.
More kind of like freedom. And
but there's also bad parts to it because you'll have social groups that will try and bully and take over other social groups. You'll have a lack of attention, so this ADDness is going to really spread. You're going to have a lot of bossiness going on. You're going to have a lot of people that are very nervous and very anxious. Aquarius is the USA's moon sign because we have a birth chart just like the United States of America has a chart just like you do.
July 4th, so that's
1776.
Cancer, right?
But that Cancer represents our leaders and our leadership because in mundane astrology, which is another branch of astrology, when you do a chart for an organization, the sun represents the leaders of that organization. Okay. So if you want to be a good president, look at the aspects to the sun of the horoscope of the United States, and those are the type of things that people went out to president, just juxtaposed on top of our history. All it takes is a night or two of research, and maybe you have a lot of fun along the way and plan the next great presidential campaign. I know I am. But yes, you can find that out through the moon sign of the horoscope of the United States. The moon sign represents the people of the United States, and the moon sign of the United States is Aquarius, which means we're very neurotic, attention deficit type of people. We're very